The moment their boots met the soil of Lab 7, Instructor Bleak's voice cut through the filtered air, sharp as a scalpel. "Your excitement is noted," he said, his large black eyes sweeping over the disembarking graduates and lingering on three faces in particular. "But on this death world, under my command, you will follow three absolute rules. Your survival depends upon it." The research station lay before them, a geometric puzzle of prefab structures encased within a shimmering energy dome. Beyond that barely visible barrier, a forest of violet flora swayed, hiding predators that could shred alloy like parchment. Inside, the environment was a curated lie. Yellow grass, tempered air, artificial safety. Bleak, a Zord whose emerald skin and elongated limbs matched crude human tails of grays, paced before the first of his concerns, a Votrix. The being was diminutive, with silvery, moist-looking skin and pointed ears like some mythical elf. Bleak's three-fingered hand tightened, memory flashing of a shield network nearly collapsed 3 years prior by a Votrix's curiosity. "Rule 1, Bleak announced, voice echoing across the compound. "Do not touch the equipment, especially the shield generators and power relays. One alteration can cascade into catastrophic failure." The small Votrix, Willick, nodded rapidly, but his large gray eyes clung to the shimmering dome with palpable longing. Bleak moved down the line. He passed rigid Dendari, biologically incapable of rebellion, and placid Kalari, who communicated in serene light, stopping before a furred biped of orange and black stripes. Halera the Fool stood with crossed arms, her whiskers twitching with latent aggression. Bleak recalled a prior expedition ended early by a full dispute that demolished 2 habitats. "Rule 2, he declared, locking eyes with her. "No fighting. Any physical altercation, claws retracted or not, means immediate expulsion and a permanent failing mark." Halara's tail gave a lazy swish. "I see no worthy opponents." Jaw tight, Bleak moved on, ignoring the vibrantly plumed trill avians. They never caused trouble, and finally stopped before the human. Neil stood with a relaxed alertness, his sun-touched skin and casual uniform suggesting an infuriating lack of intimidation. Bleak's voice dropped to a grave register. "Rule 3, avoid all wildlife. No taming, no rescuing, no feeding, and absolutely no provoking predators to test the shields." He leaned in. "They are not designed for repeated assault by multi-ton creatures with claws that slice through metal." Neil offered an awkward smile. "Guess I'm not the first human here, huh?" Bleak's silence was confirmation enough. Humans were brilliant, reckless, and treated lethal ecologies like potential petting zoos. Last year, one had required emergency anti-venom after mistaking a colonial insect swarm for something fluffy. Addressing all 20 students, Bleak delivered his final warning. "Forget the Academy's soft encouragements. Here, these rules are everything. Break them, and you will wait for transport in an isolation unit that is deliberately unpleasant." He took a measured breath. "Store your gear in your assigned tents. Welcome to Lab 7. He turned, but his sharp hearing caught the chatter he left behind. "Not exactly welcoming," Halera commented. "First impressions aren't everything," Neil's calm voice replied. "I don't even like tech that much," Willick's small voice protested. Bleak tuned them out. He had experiments to monitor, and, he decided, a surprise afternoon inspection to conduct. The station's AI reported no anomalies. No shield tampering, no fights, no wildlife interaction. This only deepened Bleak's suspicion. He found them gathered around a roaring 2-meter-high bonfire, its light dancing on fascinated faces. Neil strummed a guitar, singing of Lucy and diamonds. Even the trill swayed gently. "What," Bleak demanded, ice in his tone, "is this?" "Team building instructor," Neil said, fingers pausing. "We start research tomorrow." "The wood. Where from?" "Dead branches from inside the perimeter," Willick squeaked. No rules broken. Bleak's gaze was merciless. Wood is wildlife. Burning it is interaction. He raised his wristcom. 3 utility drones descended, dousing the fire and students in 300 liters of water. Steam billowed. Students spluttered. "Let this be your only warning. Next time you fail." The students stared, their silence heavy. The Kalari's lights dimmed to disappointed hues. Neil smiled and reached his eyes as he packed his guitar. "We understand, Instructor." The words felt like a lie. Bleak's midnight inspection revealed the impossible. Neil stood in the compound, soaked and scratched, hefting a creature of iridescent scales and triple-hooked teeth, a Carve river predator, a Class 4 hazard. "Are you insane?" Bleak's composure shattered. "You went outside the shields? At night? Just fishing," Neil said, laying the massive catch gently on a tarp. "That's not fishing. That's a death wish." Neil met his gaze. "Your rules mention taming, rescuing, feeding. They didn't mention hunting. Technically, removing wildlife is the opposite of interaction. It's a gray area." Bleak's fists clenched. He saw the other students watching, recording devices glowing. He couldn't punish a successful loophole-exploiting catch without provoking an academy scandal. "No more creative interpretations," he forced out, voice strained. "Any interaction, hunting, observing, anything beyond stepping on grass, will now cost you your grade. Clear." Only sullen murmurs replied. As he retreated, he heard Halera whisper, "That'll be delicious." The next morning, the shriek of failing shields sent Bleak running, only to find Willick's tent housing a speaker blaring the sound. Students laughed from their tents. "It helps me sleep," Willick said innocently. Day 3 brought guttural vocalizations from a datapad Halera and Neil were sharing. "Cultural songs, Instructor," Halera explained. Day 4, a tame predator, hollow projector in Neil's tent. No rule against holograms. Day 5, Bleak's lab ceiling was adorned with avian excrement. The trill chirped in flawless harmony. You specified no terrestrial waste areas. "We are aerial." By the 5th afternoon, Bleak surrendered. He called an assembly. "A truce," he stated. "Fair grades for proper research, in exchange for no more creative interpretations for the final 2 days." Neil, the unspoken leader, nodded. "Agreed. We came to learn." He paused. "But your rules saw stereotypes, not students." The final days were peaceful, productive, and insightful. Willick discussed shield engineering theory. Halera showed disciplined prowess in sample retrieval. Neil shared profound ecological insights. On departure eve, Neil approached privately. "I apologize for pushing so hard," he said. "But you only saw a Votrix who breaks things, a fool who fights, and a human who pets predators. You didn't see us." "Your species have records," Bleak countered weakly. "So does yours, I bet. You can't teach from a place of expecting the worst." Bleak had no reply. He watched the transport ship disappear into the bruised sky. 3 weeks until the next group. He pulled up his 3-rule document, stared at its rigid lines, and, after a long moment, deleted it entirely. The blank screen glowed before him. Tomorrow, he would begin anew. Tonight, he allowed himself the strange peace of being wrong. Did the story of defiance and understanding on a deadly world resonate with you? If you enjoyed this HFY tale of challenging assumptions, please subscribe, and share. It helps us bring more compelling narratives of humanity's curious place among the stars directly to you.